Ted Lasso has been with us 3 years now, coming to a close this past May. Not only has the show given us the lovable father figure that we either grew up with or missed all of our lives, it's also ushered us through a difficult past few years in the world. Along the way, it taught us many things, like to be a goldfish, embodying the happiest animal on the planet.
You know what the happiest animal on earth is? It's a goldfish. You know why?
No.
It's got a 10-second memory.
To stop judging others and be curious instead.
You know, Rupert, guys have underestimated me my entire life. And for years, I never understood why. It used to really bother me. But then one day, I was driving my little boy to school, and I saw this quote by Walt Whitman. It was painted on the wall there. It said, "Be curious, not judgmental." I like that.
That we should never just settle for fine when we deserve so much more.
Nothing wrong with that. Most people are fine. It's not about him. It's about why the fuck you think he deserves you. You deserve someone that makes you feel like you've been struck by fucking lightning. Don't you dare settle for fine.
And that forgiveness is freeing and we shouldn't judge someone by their lowest moment.
I looked up Ted. He took me in, fed me, let me crash on his couch. And in return, I stole his car. I didn't get far. And I would have gone straight back to prison if Ted didn't come down there and convince those cops that he gave me the car.
Just like in Les Mis.
Our story is very similar to Les Mis, yes.
Looking back, the show was filled with tons of life lessons disguised as funny quips, howling dogs, or grunting men. And yet, during this time, in a world where day-to-day horrors flood every platform we engage with, entertainment everywhere was continuing to mirror the same fear and anxiety we all did our best to avoid. And that brings me to the most important lesson Ted Lasso taught me. The importance of entertainment. And not just any entertainment.
For me, success is
Feel
not
good
about wins and
entertainment.
losses. It's about helping these young fellas be the best versions of themselves on and off the field.
I grew up, like many other 90s kids, watching sitcoms with my family. Whether it was Friends, The Fresh Prince, Seinfeld, Full House, Everybody Loves Raymond, Sabrina the Teenage Witch, Martin, Saved by the Bell, Married with Children, or one of my personal favorites, My Wife and Kids.
Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
Every show gave us all one thing: the chance to come together and forget about our troubles for a moment while we laughed and smiled at the charming personalities on screen. Sitcoms gave us hope. They mirrored the parts of us that we enjoyed. They made us feel like our regular lives weren't so boring after all. When Ross got jealous of Rachel's boyfriend of the week, it made us laugh and reminded us that our feelings are valid too.
I even thought of getting back together with you. We are so over.
Fine by me!
When Will was at his lowest point and needed his uncle's shoulder to cry on, we cried with him. Like all other good shows, sitcoms allowed us to process all of the feelings we carried with us every day, whether we knew how to do so healthily or not. Now, people who don't like 90s sitcoms will rightfully point out the corniness of the shows, the unrealistic depictions of everyday life, or the lack of depth in a lot of the characters. And while these points are all valid, I'd argue they were never the primary goal.
You're supposed to be here for him.
You get off my back!
We've gone deeper and deeper into an age of hyper-realistic content, with visual effects and cinematic quality blurring the line between what's real around us and what's on screen. But the intended effect is that we have an acute bias toward realism now in everything that we watch. Demand for corny, feel-good shows and movies is as low as it's ever been, yet the same volatile environment that bred 90s comedies exists today. Maybe we can chalk it up to choice paralysis across the dozens of streaming platforms, devices, and app options we now have. Maybe the way we watch TV is now different. We no longer watch shows together as a family in the same room anymore. And as the Chicago Tribune puts it, the sitcom lull was inevitable. It's become increasingly harder for any one show to stand out amid the 500-odd scripted series that premiere each year. Entertainment genres have a way of falling in and out of favor. It tends to be cyclical. And that brings me back to what was so special about Ted Lasso. It gave me a break from all the wonderfully captivating, yet painfully hollow afterfeeling of watching serialized dramas, and brought me back to the blissfully content but full of wonder state I was in as a child. It somehow gave me the same feeling I had while watching The Fresh Prince or Friends. But while these days I may throw on an episode or two from those shows and tire myself out trying to recapture my childhood happiness, Ted Lasso did so in a beautifully modernized way. It gave me the cheap cornball laughs while also hitting me in the chest with its masterful dialogue and endless quotes. This is exactly why it's garnered such a massive audience, despite it being centered around a sport a lot of its audience doesn't even follow.
I was very, very specifically told I'm not allowed to swear, so this speech is going to be fucking short.
Anyone who has watched the show will tell you one thing. I was surprised at how funny and emotional it was. It's full of progressive ways to think about life, whether it's about the Diamond Dogs tackling toxic masculinity and allowing themselves to give each other support.
Yeah, okay, Diamond Dogs, mount up, let's go.
Or building powerful female figures like Rebecca Welton, who doesn't immediately get swooped up by a male love interest.
Yes, to a sewer, Ted. I know. Everyone knows.
And you're upset that I didn't invite you?
No, Coach Lasso, I'm upset because the team that I own is projected to finish last this season.
Ted Lasso retains the feel-good nature of 90s sitcoms while flipping today's stereotypes on their head. And as someone who's always been told I'm too nice and people will take advantage of me, the show reminded me that above all, kindness is powerful. Despite the finale disputing it, the magic of Ted Lasso was indeed Ted Lasso himself. From the beginning all the way to the end, his optimism and endless charm was the glue that kept the whole show together. It's what captured all of our hearts over the past 3 years, and it's what reminds me that in an ever so serious world, there will always be a place for corny, feel-good, smile from ear to ear while crying TV.
I always figured that tea was just gonna taste like hot brown water. And you know what? I was right. Yeah, it's horrible. No, thank you.
If you've stayed this long, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the series as much as I did, and if you enjoyed this video, a like and subscribe goes a long way to helping us make more content just like this.